right, welcome parents. This week we're going to talk about how to optimize your self-care and fun time with your family. So we've got a lot of resources and information today related to health and wellness. Feel free to click on the link afterwards to access all of the different strategies and tips on boosting your health and wellness, as well as get in touch with Nadine afterwards through Instagram. So I'm your host, Pearlie, and I'm the founder of Young Innovators, where we design progressive curriculums for future leaders. It's my pleasure to bring our special guest, Nadine here today. Nadine and I first met when we both participated in the Women in Tech Regatta a few years back, and she invited me to speak on her podcast. By the way, the Women in Tech Regatta is absolutely fabulous. It's not just for women, it's for men as well and allies and basically anyone who wants to learn, be inspired, and make meaningful connections. As Melody Berenger always says, relationships are the true currency, and that is absolutely true. That's how Nadine and I met and stayed in touch. It's been so delightful to witness Nadine's hard work in creating CoachME, which is a global community that brings everyone together with coaches to support people to thrive in life and their career. Now, Nadine has a very unique background with a decade and a half of international work experience over 6 countries. Nadine, great to speak with you today. Would you mind sharing with us what inspired you to put together CoachME, this great community for everyone?
Yeah, hi, Pearlie. Thank you for having me on. And yeah, you're just recalling that we've met through the with Regatta, and that first time we actually talked. It's brings back so many happy memories, and our paths have indeed crossed a few times since then, supporting each other in different ways, and obviously also witnessing your career path and where you've been so long. So this is a beautiful journey together, and here we are again collaborating on something unique. Thank you for bringing it into the space. It's very much needed, I guess, right now. And yeah, thank you for asking me to see how I can contribute and bring value to all the parents out there. Your question was around how I brought coaching into the world, or what the idea behind coaching. Is that right?
Like what inspired you to create CoachME, this community for everyone?
Yeah, so when I first came to Vancouver, I've done a lot of networking, and obviously that's how we met. And eventually, I realized that there was a lot of coaches in my network. I was like naturally drawn to positive, supportive people who help others be just their best selves. And on the other hand, people who weren't in my network, there's a lot of people who were either very unhappy with where they are, overwhelmed, they didn't quite know where they wanted to go, so lacked a bit of direction, and or just wanted to get to their goals so much faster. And I thought, hey, I'm usually the connector. I'm connecting people with people and people with resources, and why not me? So I started, the original idea was to do podcasts with coaches, and that kind of really snowballed into having events out there, interactions online and in person. Until recently, we've changed in-person events to webinars, and there's just a lot happening, and it's so beautiful to be making our communities a better place to be. And my personal kind of mission in all of this, what I've realized I've always done in some way, just not as intentional, so that came out with coaching for myself as well, is that I love bringing diverse people together and helping them thrive. And in this case, it's just amplified through the coaching community, and it's beautiful to witness the effect coaching has on people and how it's truly transformational. So, like, I want more of that. I want all people to know about coaching and what it can do for them. So this is me swinging the flag for coaching.
What a great mission. So you became a coach and consultant yourself too, Nadine, right? What is your latest certification in coaching?
Oh, that's a good one. So I've done over 100 coaching training hours through the coaching of the coactive CTI, the Coactive Leadership Institute. And then I've done I've just got like certified to assess and coach on emotional intelligence as well through the emotional intelligence training company based here out of Vancouver.
Yes, emotional intelligence is been proven through research even that it's even a bigger predictor of success than regular IQ. And I think children should be learning emotional intelligence these days. The younger they are,
Yes.
the better for it.
Yeah. I mean, emotional intelligence is just like that's a topic on its own. We can talk about that forever and ever. It's a passion project. So
Right.
even before I went into getting this official training and certification in it, I've been looking into this topic for a long time. It's one of the must-have kind of tools in your own tool belt to succeed in the modern workplace, according to the World Economic Forum. So there's a lot that goes for it on how you make decisions based on your emotions, how you cope with stress, how you're managing your own feelings, how you're bringing it out to the world, how you're building relationships. It touches every single every single aspect of our lives, and it's beautiful. There's a lot to learn from the insights you get of an emotional intelligence assessment.
It's so relevant. Well, let's go back to
Mm-hmm.
our topic today, though. Our topic is health and wellness. So we had submitted questions from parents concerning
Correct.
this area. And
Mm-hmm.
here's their first question from a mom. How can I get more self-care when it's so difficult with the kids at home and working from home? There's no time. Um, so what is your answer to that, Nadine?
Oh my God. So first of all, I want to just quickly say that there's only so much we can cover in our conversation today. So Party also asked me to write an article, which I've compiled. It has a lot of resources in it. So if any of these topics or questions really, resonate with you and you want to know more, just like look into the article that we're posting a link to. There's a lot more in there. And if you still have questions, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. So with, oh my God, I don't have any time, it's like I totally get it. There is like 1,000 things to do at any given day, and a few years ago I've read something that having no time is a myth, and it really like I don't know. I really didn't like reading about it at the time because I thought, yeah, that doesn't really apply. But I still remember reading about it, and even now, it's 3 in the afternoon. It's like I haven't done anything yet. I haven't done anything, and in the meantime, you've kept a human being alive, and you've entertained that human being and looked after them, and all of these things. So there's a lot to say for not having any time and how you can actually like accomplish that. And I mean, my head goes off to anyone out there watching right now who's a single parent or a parent of more than just one child or twins. Everyone is a superstar, seriously. And if you kind of do want to have more self-care in your life, it has to be a priority, and you need to prioritize that. And that is a very individual thing for every single one out there. So we were just, talking about what that could mean for every person. Someone might say, I actually like bungee jumping, and that's my ultimate thing of just switching off, getting a high and whatever. For me, it would drive me nuts. I would be anxious and stressed and so far from self-care. Obviously I have books around me just like you, Pearly. So I'd
I love
probably,
books.
say something along the lines of, give me an hour and a book, and I'll be super, chilled. And that's my way of self-care. So to get a lot more in, it's like, first of all, you need to know what self-care is for you. So, and that's very individual thing. what does self-care mean for each one of you individually, and why is it so important for you? It's like what is it about it? You need to know your why in order to really make sure that you have the priorities right. And it's a bit like going into, you know, when you're on an aeroplane, they always say, you know, if there's no oxygen in here, put your mask on first and then help everyone else. If you are not fully functioning, then there's only so much that you can pass on to everyone else. So make sure that your levels are optimal in some way. And yes, there are weeks, maybe sometimes just days where it isn't, but then maybe see how it can be balanced out. And it can be a, you know, it can be a challenge, but see how, you know, there's maybe one tiny thing that you can do that really makes a difference. I've once talked to a mom who was also struggling as a single mom of two teenagers. And she's like, every morning, even though she wasn't really a morning person, but that is the only time she could find for herself, she would set the alarm clock to about 15-20 minutes earlier than everyone had to get up. And she'd go to the kitchen, make herself a cup of coffee, take her book with her, and she would just use that time, the you know, the quietness before everyone got, you know, mad for the day, to just have a bit of relaxing time for herself. And that was the only time that she could manage, but it's a way to make that work. So everyone needs to look at what is a tiny thing that you can move, you know, where you can move that dial a bit to a bit more self-care once you know what that is for you. It could be, you know, something like, again, like reading a book, having a walk by yourself, having 2 minutes for a cup of tea on your own in peace and quiet, where you're not being interrupted or someone wants something from you, or, you know, those type of things. Start small, see how you can implement it, and be intentional about it. Tell everyone around it too, I need this and this is what I need right now, and then I'll be there for you again. But, you know, it doesn't make you a worse parent if you know, look out for your self-care. Make it a priority.
Yes, it's so important to tell your whole family about this. Like, mommy needs time, like for every afternoon for 10 minutes. This is mommy's time. Mommy's going to go just sit down with a book or sit down with a cup of tea, and let your family know that this is your time only, so that they won't come and try to catch your attention.
Yeah, and it can go, you know, all way. Like it can be an intentional thing for everyone. You know, dad has their, you know, their time when, you know, they do their thing, and then the kids have their time when they're free to do whatever they want to do, and that applies to everyone in the family. Just be intentional around it and communicate it. I think communication is key in this.
Absolutely, communication is key. And I've been hearing from some parents that, you know, over the pandemic, they were just getting a little bit stepping on each other's toes, like because they were in such a confined space for so long, and the parents weren't working outside of the home anymore, and the students, their kids, they were back at home. So yeah, in such confined spaces, it's so important to communicate. Mm-hmm. And to set your boundaries.
Yeah, set boundaries. It does not have to be, you know, super firm around it. Just it's a way of how you're saying it, how you bring it across, with a lot of understanding in that sense, right? Everyone needs to respect each other and understand. And yes, that also comes with its difficulties and challenges. So I'm not saying this is the easy way out, but yeah, it's, I believe, a good way forward.
Right. Okay, our next question from a parent is about feeling anxious and overwhelmed with all of this information about keeping everybody safe. And it seems like sometimes, like in the media, things change suddenly. So this mom's question. I'm getting a bit anxious and overwhelmed trying to keep my children safe with all of this information. What can I do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's again, it's a really relevant and tough question though, because there's a real reason to be cautious, right? And being cautious can really be life-saving. So some of the best things to kind of just take the overwhelm out of it is basically just focus on the facts and only get them from very reputable sources like the government of Canada or the BC websites, as well as the World Health Organization. I believe that all governments are looking into the World Health Organization because they have the biggest set of data available as well on what goes on. And I mean, everyone is just like learning as they go along, right? So I would say adhere to the recommendations that are being given and know that as scientists learn more and more about it, those recommendations might change. It also depends on how the virus behaves in each area, right? And something that I had to be myself very cautious about too is what do I read about on social media, especially. And you know, there can be a lot of sensationalizing things. People write out lying or fear mongering, and it can drive you you know, into spheres that are very, you know, easily get, or that very easily get you to be very anxious or overwhelmed. So kind of just shut it out. I know people who said, okay, at least at the beginning of the pandemic, when Justin Trudeau still used to do his, you know, the daily news conference. It's like, okay, this is my 5 minutes of where I get my facts from, and then I'm not going to read anything else for the rest of the day on COVID because it's for my own, you know, good on mental health. Another thing that I like to be like just point out, and that can be difficult as well, is once you manage your own, you know, emotions and your thoughts around it, it's kind of important to make sure what goes, or kind of check in with the children to see where they're at. What have they picked up that you may not be aware of, right? So are they somehow now feeling overwhelmed or fearful around it? What do they perceive around it, and how can you make them feel safe? Again, I would say stick to the facts, tell them about it in a, you know, in a factual way of why things are the way they are. Obviously with a lot of compassion around it as well. There's a lot of restrictions and kids may not be able to play as much or see as many people as they've seen before. But yeah, there's those things are important as well. And if you're just referring back to the article that I've written specifically around this question as well, there's a few things that you can do kind of even in the run-up, if you feel, you know, you're coming up with this feeling of being overwhelmed. It's a really easy exercise that you can do in the moment, and that's around breathing. So you're basically taking a deep breath in, count to 4, and that's through your nose. You breathe in through your nose on 4, and then breathe out on 8. So through your mouth, and that's in on through the nose and 4, and out through the mouth, counting to 8. Couple of times usually does a trick of calming you right back down. And same goes for, you know, finding maybe some green space outside, or even if it's your house plants, have a look at them for a few minutes. Absolutely helps. And there's facts and, you know, studies around that, how that helps. Then concentrate on things that you can actually influence. There's a lot, and I know it's kind of a recurring theme, I think, to some of the other questions that we're going to tackle later on. It's like there's only so much that you can influence. So you're doing your best with what you can do, and that's that. Sometimes you just need to accept that you cannot influence every single thing. So you're doing your best, and that's all that anyone can ever ask of you. Do your best. And yeah, so there's a few more tips there in the article. very practical things like journaling, meditation, positive affirmations, and always with some links and more information of how you can make it work for you. So I would say check that out if you
Yes,
tend to be
Nadine
someone
wrote
who
a
feels
very
overwhelmed.
comprehensive article for us related to all of your questions. Speaking of meditation, our third question is about guided meditation. A
Yeah.
parent asked if we had any the most useful tips and resources for guided meditations. So,
Mm-hmm.
guided meditations are good for relaxing and stress relief. Nadine, have you ever coached any of your clients through guided meditations before?
Actually, I have not taught them through it myself, but I've plenty recommended it.
Okay.
And I've done it with like as part of groups before with other people. Before I became a coach, I was a manager in a software company, and there was a lot of could be a lot of stress, especially towards the end of each quarter. And at some stage, I was like, "Hey, I need some scheduled scheduled time as well to kind of calm down. So I'm just going to lead." I said, "I'm going to be in this meeting room every Monday afternoon for 10 minutes. I'm going to play as a guided meditation, and whoever wants to come in from the team, please join me." And it worked like a treat because I did it as the manager, as the leader. And I actively encouraged it. A lot of other people joined in as well and didn't just do it. They also continued once I wasn't able to join anymore. But that really does a trick. You do not have to do it for a very long time. You don't have to be an expert in it either. You can just hit play, Google guided meditation, see what comes up for you. And there's a lot of free resources out there. And I've put some in the article. What I particularly like for myself that I can also recommend, and there's no hidden agenda on my side here because of why I recommend it, but other than it actually really works and I love it, so I'm recommending it to everyone, is the app Headspace. So you can try it out for free before you have to go into a membership there. But they have some amazing things around specifically calming down anxiety. They have guided meditations and little explanatory videos as well on like visualizations, things like body scan. They have a whole section on getting proper sleep, which is brilliant as a parent. They have something to, hey, you're pregnant right now. There is some guided meditations around this. And they have a section dedicated to meditate together with your children, and one specifically for parents as well, which is just amazing. So I'd recommend Headspace. Check it out for free, see how you like it. It's a really easy tool to get into, and even if you wake up early in the morning, you just pop your headset in, press play and you can actually decide how long you want the guided meditation for, anything from 1 minute to 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And, it's a really great start to get into the day. And yes, you mentioned earlier, meditation is really that good. It's a really great way to reduce stress pretty fast. And there's also some studies out there that really recommend, similar to emotional intelligence, what you said earlier, to have meditation in schools and help children that way to just be a lot more aware of their feelings and what's going on, or their stressors. There's a
I second
meditation.
the
Just do it.
Headspace app. I actually have
Really?
it on my phone. And
Great.
actually, I know a grade 6 teacher, elementary teacher, who does guided meditation right after lunch with her students for about 15 minutes every single day. And she said that
Wonderful.
it absolutely makes them more relaxed and more productive throughout the after lunch slump. So that's
Yeah.
definitely something that parents can implement with their kids at home.
Yeah, and it goes with, there's lots of different meditations for lots of different reasons. So it's not just like a one fits all. And yeah, I mean, there you go, fellow Headspace lover.
go to our next
Mhm.
question. As a new mom, Nadine, maybe you can give us some tips on time management. So our next question is all about time management, and this parent asked us if we could give some concrete tips on it because there just doesn't seem to be enough of time to get anything done.
I know, when I saw that question, I was like, can someone please give me some tips for myself? And this, but I'd like to actually start answering this by recalling an interview that I've seen by an author, or by the author called Tiffany Dufault. And she wrote a book called Drop the Ball, which I thought was really cool. And it's specifically around parenting. And the reason, so this, the following story that I'm going to tell made me buy the book, and I really enjoy it, and I keep recommending it as well. So she said along the lines of one of the reasons why she started writing this book was she was in a group with women who all wanted time management tips, right? And they were all asked to write down all the chores, all the things that need to be done during the day, all the things they wanted to accomplish. And once they've had this list done, then put next to it how long each one of these tasks would take. So, you know, how long do you sleep? How much time do you need for lunch, for cleaning, for all the other things, driving kids to, you know, a football match, etc. And then without fail, they all tallied up the time, and they all realized that it took longer than 24 hours, all the things that they wanted to establish. So they set themselves up for failure right away because there was just so much. And so that was one of the reasons she started writing this book, Drop the Ball. And yeah, there's some really good tips in that book as well, and some of them I'd love to share with you. One of them is really have a look at what you actually really need to have done every single day or every single week. What is a must-have? So that goes on top of the agenda, right? And do something that is actually realistic to do. What really needs to be done, and which things are flexible, right? Do you need to really clean that cupboard, or is that a thing that can also be pushed out by a week, a month, a year? Right? And it's like have a look at that, and also look at what actually does not have to be on a list at all. I believe Tiffany Dufault said that she at some stage decided with her husband that haircuts weren't that important. It cost some time. They were both juggling work and raising their kid, and it's like, okay, then we'll just let our hair grow out. And I mean, look here, we had a pandemic and we all decided to, you know, it's possible. You do not have to go to the hairdresser all this time. So those are some things on, you know, realistic goals. What is flexible? What isn't? What can you actually do? And the things that you do want to do is, you know, see how you can make it happen. For instance, that's still something that I learned from when I was working in a restaurant as a teenager. It's like you do not have any empty walks. Whenever you go somewhere, you always take stuff with you. You never have any empty hands for an empty walk. You would always have one thing that needs to go into another room, or you move it around, so you always have something with you. And eventually you clean one space, you know, one cupboard, not the entire cabinet, but just one cupboard. And everything, you know, goes, you know, eventually it'll work out, even though it's probably at a much slower pace than most people want. But unfortunately, it's also not in anyone's ability to put more than 24 hours in any workday. So again, you know, what can you actually influence?
Moms are always so hard on themselves, so definitely focus on the most important things to you and your family, and take stock of all of your tasks, goals, and your commitments so that you can allocate your time properly to the things that are truly important to you and your family.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to our last question. So what are some fun activities which can increase happiness for the entire family?
Yeah. So again, this is something that is very different from not just from family to family, but also from family member to family member. So a good opportunity is if you say, I want more joy and laughter and happiness in our family, do a little family get together. Like just sit everyone around the table or go to the park and chat there and say, hey, you know, I've noticed so and so, and I'd really love us to have a bit more fun at home. So let's just brainstorm what that could be. And then really like go into it with an open, curious mind and let everyone speak their own truths, what that is for everyone. Again, someone might just really want some time on their own, and others are like, let's do a family thing. So make sure that once you have that all kind of, you know, even written out, you can put like use post-it notes or do a collage around it and say, this is what we imagine the rest of the year is going to be like for us, and then put it in a prominent place at home. Be creative around it, and then find ways to make it work, and make it work so that every single family member has something, or everyone makes sure that the fun parts are actually being accomplished for everyone. So at least one thing from everyone in the family is being accomplished and worked on. So you make it possible as a family. It's a good bonding time as well in that sphere. And yeah, there might be things that not everyone might agree with. So as a parent, obviously you have to set some boundaries around, you know, health and safety, or maybe some financial goals. Like, okay, everything that we're going to do, it's not supposed to cost us anything or more than, you know, $10 or whatever. It's like that could be a creative way of doing that as well. It's like, hey, let's see what is actually possible. And yeah. Oh, one other thing that's really fun.
Okay, what is it?
Is, and I've actually done it a few times. It is super fun. Is I put up the theme tune of Mission Impossible.
All right.
You know, the theme tune, and it's I think it's about just under 4 minutes, and it's like really loud on the loudspeakers, and then it's a bit like ready, steady, go, and everyone just cleans as much as possible within 4 minutes while that music is on. It's great because you kind of know the theme, and it's uplifting and fast, and you're like, okay, what can we do? Obviously it works with other tunes too. So if you rather have another listen to Baby Shark, you know, sure, put that on and see how much you can do, you know, tidying up and cleaning in that sense. But it's a good way to combine some fun with some chores at home as well. And, you know, it's like happiness does not always need to be something huge and an occasion.
Fancy.
Exactly. It could just mean having one meal together at the table. Say, I'd always wanted
electronics.
Right. Always let's have some meal together, and let's talk about, you know, our days, how we've been. So that's it. Or give each other some hugs. Turn up the music a bit more. Can we have some more fun and music in the house? Usually
Music
lifts the spirits.
is critical. Even if I'm not with anyone on my own, I'd love to blast a few songs like you, just on my own, and then I'll jam out or dance like a crazy person. Hopefully my neighbors haven't ever seen me. It's a great way to distress.
Oh, it's fun. It's like, even with, you know, it's like just a few, like some of the musicians that currently cannot go on you know, on tours, they do like virtual live tours from somewhere. They stream it online, and I've had a session. I had my baby in arm, music on loud. I had the TV on with the musician on there, and then off we were dancing. I was like, yeah, this is cool. This is much better than I expected it to be, because I would not have been able to go to the concert right now with the, you know, baby around. So beautiful. You know, it can be such a creative time. And I believe just bringing the kids along does not have to come from always the parents is what we're gonna do. And yeah, you know what, I actually love to know what people are doing out there for more fun. So if anyone's out there and thinking, oh my God, this is a great tip. This has worked so well for our family. Please just send me a direct message on Instagram or whatever. I'd love to know.
Yeah,
Pass
so
it on.
yeah, those are some great tips and strategies. Well, today Nadine has covered all the topics from mindset, time management, self-care, guided meditation, and fun for the family. Now, Nadine, do you have any last words for our parents?
Last words are, parenting can be tough, but so are you. Um,
Yes,
use a
be
lot
kind
of,
to yourself.
be kind to yourself, practice kindness, especially to yourself.
Yes.
It's so often that we are giving and giving and giving, and we're expecting so much more from ourselves than we would ever expect from someone else. So practice a bit of self-love, do something good for yourself, and yeah, that's
Okay.
it.
Well, is there some call to action you'd like our parents to do after watching our talk today?
Yeah, so I would encourage everyone to like have a look back and what really resonates with you, of what you'd like to try for your family. Just like pick one of the things that we talked about, and just do it. Just try it out in your family, and it does not have to be anything big. Just something that is meaningful to you, and you know will make a difference. Something that kind of gets you excited, and and then maybe pick another item and another item on the list. And I'm sure, Puri, you'd want to know as well what works really well and what tips parents are coming up with. So just shoot us a message, and we'd love to hear. That's always the good thing. So it's a two-way communication that way.
Yeah, so please do let us know. And there we have it, the best coaching strategies for boosting your health and wellness this week. Thank you so much, Nadine, for bringing your insight and giving us a taste of how coaching can help improve wellness for parents. There's a lot more in the article, which we'll have up on our website. A lot of these strategies can be applied differently, and the coaching questions can be answered differently. You know, there's no one shoe fits all kind of solution to this.
Mm-hmm.
So here's to boosting your
Yeah.
health and wellness for you and your family in a fun way this week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Pearlie from Young Innovators, and we had Nadine from CoachMe. So if you want to say hello to Nadine, feel free to reach out to her on Instagram and stay in touch with us at Young Innovators.
Yes.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.